madali nilang naitaboy ang kalabang halina. May mahalagang natutunan ang mga batang wild dog sa lakot ito. Kung gusto nilang makontrol ang teritoryo at mamuhay ng ligtas, kailangan nila ng teamwork. Pero may malaking pagbabago magaganap sa kanilang buhay. Ang pagkulag, dadagsa na naman ang mga hayop na pwede nilang gawin merienda. Hirap din ang pinagdadaanan ng isang maliit na kasi naman sa bundok ito na sa Rocky Mountains, North America. Kaya ang mga kaika, walang kasama kapag summer. Nag-iisip sila ng pagkain halaman. May makain sila sa winter. At hindi ito madali ha. Kailangan nila magpabalik-balik sa pag-akot mula halamanan papunta sa initirhang lungga. Kapagod. Kaya dapat watis sila sa pituloy tirahan. Mas mainam yung kalapit lang ng lungga nila ang pamanan. Pero siyempre, hindi naman lahat ay maganda ang nakukuha ang pwesto. Ang dalagang paika na ito, mataas ang napiling tirahan. Makabakabang lakbayin, araw-araw. Alam mo bang inaabot ng daang-daang milya ang nilalakad niya tuwing samo? Matindi! At hindi lang ito nakakapagod, delikado rin. May whistle. Dahil kaya't at mahaba ang katawan, madali sila nakakapag-handle sa pasikot-sikot ng batuhan. Pero may sagot dyan ng mga pahiga. Nagwawarning sila sa kanilang mga... Ang alis pang paika, naghahanap ng mas ligtas na ruta para humanap ng pagkain. Pero minsan may nagaganap din dito ng katawan. Tulad ng lunggang ito na malapit sa halamanan. Nakakaupansin ito sa ibang paika dahil puno ng imbak na pagkain. Kumbaga, puno ang rare niya. Humanap ng tiyempo ang isang ito. Kung hindi tayo nakaalis ang may-ari ng lugar. Subukan. Akyat lungga pala ang isang to. Nakatipid na sa oras, hindi pa siya masyadong napagod. Nakaimos pa siya sa mga predators. Hakot pa more. Mukhang successful naman siya. Huwag lang mahuhuli, buti na lang walang CCTV. Nako, yan ang abang sinasabi ko. Caught in the act siya ng owner ng lugar. Ang lakas ng loob ng akyat luga na paida, ha? Pero, yung ninanakawan niya, mainit na rin ang ulo. Lagot ka. Suwerte, nakatakas pa ako. Pero ang ninakaw niya, mukhang nanakawin din sa kanya ng mas malaking hayop, ang big horse. Wala na siyang laban kahit mag-ingay pa siya. Mukhang nakarma ang akit kung gana pa ikaw. Wala siya ngayong choice kundi muling maghakot at mag-imbak ng pagkain habang wala pa ang winter. Parang gaya ng labanan ng mga langgam sa kagubatan ng Australia. Hindi na dapat mamisyan sa pagbabalik na Amazing Earth.
Sa ating 70 taong pagsasama-sama, marami na tayong napagsaluhan.
Since we've been talking about hindi napapanagin mo ito proper relationship is
since 1986 nagatanon dyan ko dyan eh. Pagkahapon, kanang Juan Mindanao. So pagkahapon, mo din namin ginatanaw.
GMA Foods' original easy arm in Western Visayas is a beacon of truth and hope for everyone.
okay kayo, ang galing na ka.
Kung sa mga media information, makakalimutan sa terms of signal strength na pa-clear naman ang
Damit.
City.
Atid ng ating
Dokumento yung isa, tapos iba damit.
Araw-araw kong nakakasama ang GMA mula sa pinakamalalaking dako ng Visayas
Wala na.
hanggang sa Mindanao.
Washing machine.
Pusong magpasalamat sa inyo
Sige, ay sige mamaya.
at pagtitiwala sa ating pag-abot sa ikit-walong sa telebisyon. Patuloy ang pag-aabot ng mga programang inyong mamahalin. Susubaybayan.
Hindi naman nakatutok sa kanya. Hindi ba nayuyuko yan?
Yan. Bukan. Bawain natin ilalim ng hagdan. Oo, pagkakot. Pinulugan mo.
Isa po
Puro ka, alas 8 ng gabi. Puro ka nga, alas 9 dito. Alas 6, gigising, kakain.
Walang patid na paglilingko ng buong puso para sa Pilipino.
When uncertainty is our reality, so rise above with the things that matter. Gigabyte happiness. Gigabyte love. Gigabyte friendship. Gigabyte dreams. Gigabyte hope. With smart Giga music, video, games, work, and stories, we let our passions run free in the new world we face together. Smart, live Giga.
This is what my ultimate beauty looks like. From the #1 in keratin, Cream Soul Triple Keratin Rescue with 3 times the keratin, relaxers, serum, and essence in a one ultimate solution. My ultimate beauty from the #1 in keratin.
Ang tibay ng katawan, ang pinakamainam na depensa. Ang Bear Brand sa Pampinyosa laban na to. Kaya ang Bear Brand Swak Pack, mas
Wala ba na po ang tablet
10
mo?
pesos na lang. Tibay araw-araw. Bear Brand Swak para Tibay Nation. Ito, ang singing contest mo.
Sayang, madilaw na.
Buti, mas pinagaling ang bagong Surf with Active Clean. Pinagaling magpaputi, magtanggal kulog, at mas pinabanga pa. Singgaling ng mamahaling pajaba. New Surf with Active Clean.
Does your anti-dandruff shampoo make your hair dry? New Dove Dermacare Scalp is different. We treat one leaf with Dove. With time, one leaf becomes dry, while the leaf with Dove stays flake-free and nourished. 100% dandruff-free, 100% care, zero compromise. New Dove Dermacare Scalp.
Ang galing ng Tide Perfect Clean! Now in liquid! Just dip, dab, and dunk. Ulat ka kahit sa kwelyo? Malinis na! New Tide Now in liquid!
Para laging comfy dry si baby, use Huggies Dry Pants. Absorbs up to 7 cups of fleaweed and locks it away. Siguradong dry and happy si baby. Huggies Dry Pants. Fresh yung panalo, kaya buy now. Fish ma? Fish niya? Fish dye? Fish da! Ang profit snack na oh wow! Kaya gusto ng lahat. Fish babe?
Oh wow, croquet.
Oishi Fish da is the profit for all. Showtime, game na! Kahit mahangin, perfecto nung galaw mo, bangong panalo sa Sunsilk with 5-flower perfume for 5 times smoother and fragrant hair. Panalo! Nakakagigil! Sunsilk! Kapag may humulmol, mukhang luma. So I fight clothes aging with new Comfort Care detergent. Its anti-aging technology deeply cleans and protects against the 5 signs of clothes aging. Kaya hindi mo kaluma ang clothes ko. New Comfort Care detergent.
can make hair tangled and prone to hair fall. Use cream silk every day with advanced hair reborn technology to keep hair fall away every single day. My husbands are true hero. He used to complain of manhid at tusok-tusok. Neurobion, the clinically proven nerve-nourishing B vitamins. Now he's free to fulfill our dreams.
Hindi para nilagay mo dyan, tinatalo ng
Kayang-kaya ko.
di ba yung pag natalo ng ni Malo?
May 100% vitamin C and B vitamins. Tulong para may immunity ang lahat. Mabango ba yan? Try na, child. Laki ang pink perfume. Bango! Sexy detergent. Tangga naman siya. May perfume boosters pa. Sparkling clean. Sumasabog bango. Downy detergent. Now with liquid. I love styling my hair. Pero pigtas. Hair fall. New Pantene. Enriched with pro-vitamins to make hair strong. Iwas pigtas. Ano man ang style. New Pantene. Now available in long and strong.
I help boost the 8 signs of brain development. I strengthen my child's immunity too with Enfagrow 8 Plus 4. It has beta-glucan, DHA, and prebiotics to help raise her defenses even against respiratory infections. I help protect my child with Enfagrow 8 Plus 4.
Pag may asim pawis, nakakahiya. Chamba-chamba, chamba-chamba, chamba. Di ula, ula.
Because it doesn't stop sweat and odor-causing bacteria. Use Rexona every day for protection against sweat and odor. Guaranteed. Rexona. Buy one, get one now.
Let's bounce back together. Lazada 66 bounce back sale.
Ay, kasi ito naman yung nakakapakong
Hindi natatanggal sa banlaw lang ang germs ng sponge.
Kaya mag-Joy Antibac with the power of safeguards. May 99.9% germ protection. Ngayon, mas ligtas na ang pinagkakainan.
Ligtas din ang kalusugan.
Iwas germs, iwas sakit. Frequent hand washing is the first line of defense against germs. Pero hindi lahat ng sabon pareho. Hand washing with Safeguard helps prevent germs from coming back for up to 24 hours. Wash hands properly. Stay safe. Safeguard.
Grabe, 20 years ng solid ang samahan natin. Kaya ito ang solid na pag-blowout namin. TNT Big 20. Babalik ang 20% ang load mo pag nag-giga ka. Kasi ang solid na samahan, solid sa TNT.
Huling-huli ka. Kamot ka ng kamot. You can fix it with Head & Shoulders. It removes 100% of dandruff, so you're itch-free. Huling-huling, close na kayo. Now available in Answer.
Malo, bukas ako ulit.
Pare, nakapag ko ng damit ni Baby? Yes, gamit ko. Ito
Lo,
lang
bukas
right?
ulit.
Figure anodized, pwede sa babies.
I help boost the 8 signs of brain development. I strengthen my child's immunity too with Enfagrow 8 Plus 4. It has beta-glucan, DHA, and prebiotics to help raise her defenses even against respiratory infections. I help protect my child with Enfagrow 8 Plus 4.
Kahit sa mundo ng mga langgam, meron ding mga bayani. Sila yung lumalaban pag threaten ang kanilang tirahan. Magbunga kaya ang kanilang kabayanihan? Alamin natin sa kwentong amazing number 3, Battle of the Paradise. Sa gitna ng Australian rainforest, matatagpuan ang bahay na ito ng mga langgam. Ang grupong ito ang toka sa paghahanap ng pagkain para sa lumalaking colony. Caterpillar na ito, ligtas sa
Si Mama huling gumamit.
may pakinabang kasi sila dito.
Si Mama huling gumamit.
Secretion na kinukolekta nila. Pinoprotektahan naman ng mga langgam ang caterpillar kahit saan ito magpunta.
Kasi remote.
Pero kahit mga langgam na friendly, meron pa rin enemy. Ito ang jumping spider. Itong langgam, kaya minsan naloloko nito ang mga nagbabantay sa nursery na ito. Hindi lang siya fake news, bad news din.
Since the mid-1960s, there's just nothing else out there like it.
Hi, my name is Sophie Tiani. I'm 18 years old and I live in McLean, Virginia. And this September, I'm supposed to be a freshman at Indiana University. I am planning on going into the job field of environmental science or climate change. And so I know that a lot of climate change discussions have really been put on hold, and I really hope that it will continue to be a priority, because otherwise I would definitely have to alter my career path. As a nation, we must unite behind science before it is too late. Like the main thing that I've really been working on, it has been starting my new nonprofit. So I'm Iranian American, and one of the things that I really noticed was that there's a lack of accessibility in the climate movement to people who don't speak English. And so we're working with a 501c3 so we can give community service hours for students to do translations of climate change information. A lot of milestones that I was looking forward to, I'm not going to get to enjoy. But with that said, I mean, I do think that they need to make the most responsible decision if it means that people's lives can be taken into account, because I don't want to be selfish at all, and I realize that even though this is something that's hard for me, it's much, much harder for other people.
Coronavirus is affecting the entire country, the world. Are we ready? In the beginning of outbreaks like this, nobody knows what's happening. We're determined to keep reporting the story. These are the moments where our humanity really does shine through. That's the hardest part. It's heart-wrenching. Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN.
I'm Clarissa Ward in London, and this is CNN. We are hearing from athletes across the sports arena now as they have a lot to say about the death of George Floyd in their search, obviously, for justice and social reform.
Yeah, Coy Weiner joins us now. Coy, postings on social media. You know, a lot of people are doing that, not enough for at least one NBA star who drove 15 hours to take part in the protest.
Yeah, I think that's important to him. Good morning to you, Victor. Christy, we're talking about Celtic star Jaylen Brown. He grew up in Marietta, near Atlanta here, an intelligent, thoughtful leader. He's the youngest player ever to be voted vice president of the National Basketball Players Association. He once said that people often get comfortable in their roles in life and forget about those who are uncomfortable. Brown hasn't forgotten. Driving 15 hours from Boston to Atlanta could not have been comfortable. Still, Brown was there, along with Pacers star and fellow NBPA Vice President Malcolm Brogdon, megaphone in hand and a sign that read, "I can't breathe." There at the MLK Memorial site, they were both seeking to create positive change in our nation.
Some of the injustice that we've been seeing is not okay. And as a young person, you gotta listen to our perspective. Our voices need to be heard. I'm 23 years old. I don't know all the answers, but I feel how everybody else is feeling. For sure.
People are going to look back, our kids are going to look back at this and say, you were a part of that. I got a grandfather that marched next to Dr. King in the 60s. And he was amazing. He would be proud to see us all here. We got to keep pushing forward.
All right, finally, a moment
Huh?
of humanity for you. Raiders receiver
Oh.
St. Jones was at a
Pabaw ni Pinela yan.
home in Las Vegas yesterday. An older white woman approached him and said that she was from Minnesota, apologized, and then with tears in her eyes looked at him and said, "You matter to me." Zay sent me this message last night to share with our viewers. Listen.
Anong palamanan, kuya?
I hesitated on giving her a hug because with the pandemic and everything, I don't know how people are going to react, or, you know, practicing social distancing, if I should have stayed away. But I asked her if it was okay if I gave her a hug, and I did, and instantly you could see the tears begin to stream down her eyes. That moment was just so special. It was just so genuine and organic that I knew it was coming from a great place, and it just reminded me to just to look around,
Dito?
see who's around, grab that person, just
sa labas.
show them that you care for that person, that you love them.
Victor Chrissy Jones says that the woman cried in his arms, told him how important it is to spread love. Zay says that inspired him. He will never forget it. He's always going to pay that forward. And he said he never got her name, but if she's watching, he wanted to say, just know the impact you had and that I love you for that.
Wow.
Back to you, Victor.
I hope she is hearing it this morning. That is something else. Koi wire. Thanks so much, Koi.
Thank you, Koi. Next, some of the realities of being black in 21st century America. Black men share their stories. Consider this, they're enough to post them online, hundreds of them, about the first time that a police officer pulled a gun on them, in raw accounts. Right back.
As the global economy adjusts to life in lockdown, many businesses are seeking ways to support the fight against COVID-19. With the UK still battling the effects of the virus, British clothing brand ASOS has launched a range of charity t-shirts. It says it will donate profits to charities supporting local National Health Service providers. Seniors are among the worst affected by the virus. Meal box delivery company Freshly has partnered with Nestle to donate $500,000 to Meals on Wheels America, which delivers food to older adults across the U.S. And with public health now more important than ever, Colgate-Palmolive is donating $20 million in health and hygiene products to community organizations worldwide. It is also donating another 25 million bars of soap and packaging that promotes hand washing. For more stories on the people making a difference and to find out how you can impact your world, go to cnn.com/impact.
He's only 27 years old, but already he's an 8-time world champion in this sport. I'm catching up with Mark Marquez, who's at his parents' home in Spain.
Here is one of my favorite places. Here have all my helmets. Because it's a difficult time. One thing is here at home with your family. In that thing I'm very lucky because we have a really good relationship. And I did something different. I cook a little bit. I take care of the garden.
What are you cooking?
Some pizza with my hands. But the experience was not the best one. Look this. I burned my hand.
You actually cut your brother's hair recently.
Yeah, he was happy with the results. First of all, he said, cut everything, and I said, no, I can do a nice style.
The straight talk you need from your man in Washington, who won't back down. The Lead with Jake Tapper, Tuesday through Saturday on CNN. Coronavirus. To get daily news updates in real time. Sweater. Coronavirus. Fact versus fiction.
Tapusin ko lang to, papi. Nasimulan na eh. Ako lang mag-uurong ng kinainan.
When you have a restaurant of the size that we have 85 employees. We are very personally connected to our employees, and if we have to make a decision to close and they lose their jobs, then we know that they are going to suffer. So this is an incredible decision that we've made to continue to stay open and find other revenue streams to ensure that we have enough money to continue the operation. We're also taking our performances and the things that we do inside the store and we're putting it online in a campaign called Stay at Pinche Home. And our team is really focused on making sure the delivery systems are awesome. We have our own proprietary system as well as other third-party dining services that have been helping us as well. The good news about Mexico is that we're about 2 to 3 weeks behind the rest of many parts of the world. So we're paying really close attention, watching what they're doing, and then we're going to incorporate what they do into our business.
I'm Anna Stewart in the city of London, and this is CNN.
Listen, we've been hearing from black men across the country, all ages, about what it's like being black in America and having a threatening encounter with police as part of the experience of being a black man in America. And a question posed by Daryl Nunn on Facebook caught our attention. He asked his black male friends, the followers on Facebook, here's the question: how old were you when the cops first pulled a gun on you? There have been more than 100 responses, and I'm going to read some of them for you. This is from Chris Moore. 17, pulled in my driveway, into the backyard, parked behind the house on the grass. When I got out and made it to the driveway, they were running up the driveway with guns drawn, yelling for me to get down. Searched my car and left. Brutality, 15. Guns drawn, 18. Sitting in my car back in Newark during winter break, waiting for my friend to come out of the corner store, and then the Jump Out boys, plainclothes drug squad, said I was sitting in a red zone. They turned friendly after they saw my Howard University ID. Couldn't wait to get back to Howard in January. From Gerald, I was 16. It was in Oak Park in front of my home. One had a gun drawn on me, the other tackled me. They thought I was an aggressor in a hit and run. Shredrick, I was 15, Youngstown, Ohio. Put it back up on the screen. When I stood in the parking lot of our high school, watching two police officers demand everyone out of their cars with guns drawn because the music was too loud. This from Angel. The fact that you asked how old were you and not have you ever is a story within itself. The next hour of New Day starts right now.
This is CNN Breaking News.
It was another tough night for a lot of cities across the country as protests, and we are going to show you some of the latest video we're getting in from scenes from last night that are starting to almost feel familiar now.
There's anger, there's frustration. The protesters across the country in the streets for a fifth night. They want change. Dozens of cities, we saw the clashes between police and the protesters. We've not seen something like this broad across the country in decades. You've got the social, the political, economic, and health crises all colliding at once.
The centuries-old challenge of racism is meeting this unprecedented tragedy of 102,000 people who are dead from coronavirus in the U.S. and more than 40 million Americans who are out of work right now.
This is some of the video that we're getting in from around the country, in many cases nonviolent. But we have seen police and protesters go head-to-head, and some have ended deadly. A person died last night in Indianapolis. A young man died in Detroit on Friday.
We are seeing law enforcement pushing back with more strict measures. The National Guard is being deployed, we know, in more than a dozen states. There were millions put under curfew as well in more than 24 cities.
There's a big concern for authorities. They're focused on the looting and the vandalism, the arson. Seems like this is Target. And the company says it has temporarily closed 175 stores across the country, 71 of them in Minnesota, where this all started after the death of George Floyd in police custody there.
That is something, isn't it? And I want to go to New York with you now. We can hear a lot, obviously, going on there right now. CNN's Polo Sandoval. Polo, walk us through what happened there last night, what we're seeing across the country.
Well, Christy, it was another round of those fiery clashes between protesters and police, another round of arrests, some of those even happening here in Times Square overnight. But when you hear from some of those peaceful protesters, they continue to say that their call for justice, their call for change, there will not be silence. A wave of protests over the death of George Floyd spread from coast to coast on Saturday and spilled over into the morning.
I want to be able to go in a white neighborhood and feel safe. I want to be able, when a cop is driving behind me, I don't have to clench and be tense, okay? I want to be able just to be free and not have to think about every step I take.
Authorities responded to a fifth night of protests while at least 25 cities across the U.S. enacted curfews. Peaceful protests took place, as well as acts of vandalism in cities large and small. Numerous states have either activated or requested National Guard forces to assist their cities. There was a scuffle in Times Square when several New York City police officers in helmets took down a protester to effect an arrest, and an NYPD vehicle could be seen burning near Union Square. In another incident, an NYPD vehicle appeared to drive into a railing blocking protesters after items were hurled at the car. At least 3 people were reported shot and 1 dead in a protest in downtown Indianapolis on Saturday night. This according to Indianapolis Police Chief Randall Taylor. Police are still investigating the incidents and have told citizens to avoid the area. The Minnesota National Guard had more than 4,100 citizen soldiers and airmen responding to the Twin Cities, according to a tweet from the Guard. The tweet said over 10,000 National Guard members are expected to join the response. A group of protesters who were marching from Minneapolis to St. Paul tried to cross the Lake Street Marshall Bridge, but were met with tear gas. Protesters could be seen running back in the direction that they came from. CNN's Miguel Marquez nearby as protesters held their hands in the air as some people shot off fireworks. Law enforcement let off tear gas and the crowd scattered. Cars were set on fire in Los Angeles, Seattle, and Miami. Members of the California National Guard were deployed to L.A. to support law enforcement authorities amid protests, Mayor Eric Garcetti said in a statement to CNN. One demonstration in Los Angeles led to clashes between police and protesters. Police vehicles were vandalized by some protesters who kicked in the windows or sprayed the cars with graffiti. Police fired rubber bullets at demonstrators who chanted Black Lives Matter and George Floyd. Looting could also be seen as protesters went into a metal gate inside a store and walked out with various merchandise in Los Angeles. There was also extensive looting in Philadelphia. Protesters there also vandalized the statue of former Mayor Police Commissioner Frank Rizzo in front of the city's Municipal Services building, as seen in live aerials from CNN affiliate KYW. Philadelphia police say protests at City Hall and the Art Museum began peacefully before a group of others began committing criminal acts, including vandalism, said authorities. Aerial footage from CNN affiliate WLS showing protesters in Chicago vandalizing police vehicles, some throwing water bottles at police officers in riot gear, while others were seen lifting police barricades and throwing them at police cars. At a press conference last night, Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot said that she had been engaged the past 6 hours in, quote, watching a tragedy unfold in our city. What started out as a peaceful protest has now developed into criminal conduct. In Washington, D.C., U.S. Secret Service police vehicles near the White House were vandalized by protesters with graffiti, seen in video shot by CNN. In another incident, a fire could be seen burning behind the historic Hay Adams Hotel near the White House. In Atlanta, members of the National Guard gathered at Lenox Square Mall after the police department said that it would be assisted by about 20 other agencies to monitor activity and protect retail centers. In downtown, the Atlanta Police Department said one of their officers had been struck by someone riding an ATV and sustained significant injuries as a result. Georgia Governor signed an executive order on Saturday night authorizing the activation of up to 3,000 National Guard troops statewide, kept calling for the activation in advance of several planned protests on Sunday. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine activated the Ohio National Guard